I made a list of all of the R&B albums that came out this year. I asked everybody to choose their top 15 albums. From the top 15 albums that I've gotten, I was able to choose only 10 albums that we're going to be discussing here today. The top 10 R&B albums that we will be discussing today are Ctrl by SZA, Process-Sampha, Freudian by Daniel Caesar, American Teen by Khalid, Into by Sonder, Fin by Sid, Morning After by DVSN, Strength of a Woman by Mary J. Blige, Beach House 3 by Dolla, and SweetSexySavage by Kehlani. We're rating each album based on these criteria. Jabari, would you like to take it over?
Yeah, I can talk about the criteria in which we are going to be discussing all of these albums. And so the first one is impact. Did the album have a surprise release? How did it do on the charts, streaming, views, social buzz? Staying power. Will people come back to the album in 5, 10 years from now? The track list. Were there any standout features? The best song on the album? How does the album flow? The sound. Does the sound shift the current sound in R&B, or does it move R&B in a new direction? The production. How do the beats sound? You know, is the production good? Is it bad? The lyrics. What is that person saying on the album? Is there a lot of storytelling? Can you feel the music from your heart? And then lastly, relatability. Is this something that the masses can relate to, or is this something that only a few people can relate to? So that's the criteria, and I'll give it back to Christine to get this thing started.
So the first album we're going to speak on today is SweetSexySavage by Kehlani. I'm going to get everybody's individual ratings first, and then we're going to open up for a discussion. Okay, cool. All right, discussion time.
Okay.
Who wants to start? Well, why'd you give Kalani a 2 on Staying Power?
Because this music is not going to be here for 5, 10 years, I don't think.
So you don't think what she's like talking about in it, like people are not going to constantly be hurting, people are not going to need, you know?
Yeah,
like I feel like she talks to girls in a way like, you know, you can get anything you need to do and kill it. Like
You're right. But this is my thing, is that like that has been said kind of over and over again, and I think that it's not like the music is great. I really love this album, but the music is not so incredible in terms of like, you know, her pouring her soul out, or you know, even just the production. It's not new enough sounding for me to be like, this album is gonna be here for some time. It's not a classic album. You know what I mean? It's not classic. It's not like a Badu's first album, or it's not like a, you know, we'll get to SZA. You know, it's not like a Control where it's a classic album. It's like, it's just a decent album.
Okay.
You know, so I don't think the staying power is gonna be here. But I think it's great for the now.
When you said staying power, I was under the impression you meant like how much power she has to like as an artist, not the album, and that was my mistake. I actually want to retract.
Okay, so you gave her a 5. Yeah.
Yes. So I actually want to make that like maybe like a 3.5, 3.5.
No, we can't do 0.5.
Okay, we can't do 0.5.
I need solid numbers.
We don't got decimals in this?
The way calculations.
All right, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to average it up then. I'll give her a 4, not a 5.
Okay.
Because I feel like right now there's a renaissance with, you know, the culture and like women in general. And I feel like she's speaking and she's kind of like voicing that. And I feel like, you know, actually I agree. You know, SZA's album is a classic, but I also feel like it's just a different voice in this, but it's the same like message that's being told.
It's just a different person that's saying it. Like everything just kind of moves on. Like Mary J. Blige isn't gonna be like, there's gonna not to say there's gonna be a new Mary, but I feel like there's gonna be someone that my age that can relate instead of like Mary's like age group and stuff like that. So I feel like that's why Kehlani is like, she'll be here for a great time. Yeah. So you said all of them for 5. Why? Why do you think that she deserves 5 all around?
Because I think there's not enough females also like opening up like that. There's a lot of males that talk about some deep stuff, but there's not enough females talking about like super deep stuff to where, and it's a lot of feelings that we hide as women and we don't speak about. So
explain more about like specifically.
I think just like one for like being hurt by a guy, a lot of times we try to be tough, be strong, and be like, oh, he was just stupid, and we try to just cover it up and push it off rather than being like, you know what? No, I'm hurt, and like this is what you did. Yeah, and it's affecting me.
What song do you think is like her? She's talking about that on.
I feel like she does a lot. Like even in like her last album and this album, it's just like when you're frustrated and you listen to her and you just sing her songs, you're like, okay, cool, I got that all off my chest. And I just feel...
Because you feel like she says things that I couldn't be able to say. Or
or she gives you the confidence to be able to, like, speak up and, like, know that. And I think she not only touches, like, females, but, like, gay, like, gays, like, girls and guys, which is a whole nother demographic that not a lot of people can touch. Really... Yeah. So I think that's why...
She has a song called "Do You Dirty"
That's exactly what I thought about.
That's what when you were talking about that, I think that song is like, I mean, it kind of takes this discussion to like lyrics, but that song is very blunt. It's like it's just to the point, hard hitting, and she's talking about like, where you hear a lot of guys making music about being a player and stuff like that, and it's like, I mean, she's basically like you mess with me and I'm gonna do you dirty.
Yeah.
Right.
And I never heard a song from a woman like that.
Right.
And that's why I was like, lyrics. I give her
but
a
but there's a lot of females who think that way, but they're not willing to speak up and say something because they're not supposed to. Like that makes them look bad. But it's like kind of like one of those things where it's like, what? So you just want me to sit here and be this pretty girl that just lets you walk all over me and I don't do nothing?
But two wrongs don't make a right.
But he should have done it in the first place then.
I think the point here is that like a girl should be able to want it. Yeah. I feel like a girl should be able to, if a guy feels a certain way, a girl should be able to express that as well. Right. Yeah, two wrongs don't make a right, but that's how I feel.
Right. You did it, so now you sad because I'm gonna do it.
That's what's going on. Everybody's getting done dirty.
Dirty world.
Dirty, man. Thanks, Kalani.
Right. See, she speaks up on it.
But it's honest.
It is honest. Yeah, it is.
So
and it's raw.
That's her truth.
Yeah.
And we can't, turn our backs on that. So.
And she's done a lot this year. Like she's about to go on tour with Demi Lovato and DJ Khalid. Like that's super big. Her tour.
Her tour was selling out too.
Matter of fact,
and she's amazing live.
Her tour was selling out before this album. So
yeah.
As far as staying power, to me, just talking back on that, I just think she'll be here for a while.
What was the name of her EP? She had an EP before this album. Cloud 19.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like that more than this, and that's why I thought that's why I didn't give this like staying power, because I thought that the sound was it was newer. It was like back when she's working with not big producers and that type of stuff, and it's just like that music that they're making up in the Bay. It sounded very, very different, you know what I mean? And this one, it's a little pop, crazy, you know what I mean? Distraction. And I'm not saying that those are not great songs, but like, I love Distraction, but that's, it's just like a normal pop song.
A radio friendly song.
Yeah.
That's my song.
But I feel like that's what we can expect from like her debut, like commercial joint.
That makes sense.
So I feel like I'm looking forward to her sophomore.
Yeah, definitely want
Hopefully
to see
she
that.
could be a little, bring it back to the EP. Was it the EP or mixtape?
Mixtape, I think it was.
Yeah, right.
I think Cloud 19 was more of a mixtape.
Yeah. And didn't it get nominated for a Grammy? Her album?
This one
it did.
I think, yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything else you guys want to say on Kalani's album?
I think she's beautiful.
Very gorgeous.
I think I love her.
And Nijoni loves her.
I'm rooting for her all the way. It's been dope to see her grow and not be afraid to step out and speak her truth, like we were discussing, because a lot of crazy stuff definitely has gone on in her life.
Yeah.
And so
the fact that she's been able to be open about it.
Yeah.
Because it's
in this album, yeah, for sure.
And she's genuine and real.
And you can hear that, and you can feel
it.
It feels weird to say, but you can feel it when you hear the album.
She's also a great performer.
Yes.
That's something that a lot of people can't be. Like they can be, their album is amazing, but can you perform your album live?
Yeah.
Like can you take it to the next level?
She kills the show.
When I saw her, she was an opener for, I don't even remember what the lineup was, but I think she was the best performer that night. And I was like, Oh my god.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't even remember the
Right,
lineup. You don't even.
Yeah, and at the time she only had, I think, her first mixtape out.
Oh, okay.
So she didn't even have, what was it, Clock 19? Yeah, she didn't have that out yet.
Yeah, that wasn't her
Still
first
moving.
mixtape. There was a mixtape before.
Yeah, it was the first one that she
Yeah.
had, and then she performed, and then right after that was what she came out
Dropped
with.
it. Awesome. All right, so let's move on to the next album, Control by SZA. So basically, it's fives all around, but
Galore.
why did we get a 4 on the track list?
Okay, so this is my one problem with the track list. I think that this album flows so smoothly, and like the interludes, like the way the music bed comes in. Now I notice it's her mom talking on those interludes, but I wasn't here for it. I didn't like it. I don't think it made sense. I think the interludes did not make sense. Like the stuff that her mom was saying before the song, usually it's like, okay, this flows into
The next
you know,
song.
it's just kind of like
Like
just
what
kinda
Solange
talking.
did?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's just kind of talking about random stuff.
I completely agree.
And
I
I
feel
was
like it was
like-
a little forced, and I
Yeah.
was just like,
So you could have axed those completely, and you would have had a 5 on
Yeah.
that whole.
I was a little confused here and there, like, wait,
Like,
let me try to connect the dots. Let me re-listen to this song and smell.
yeah, but no. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just
Like
kinda
you know the one where she's like
personal conversations.
you know, something, and then you heifer and you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what
Was
song.
that her?
Is that the one she's like-
grandma.
I think that one was her grandma.
Oh, that was her grandma. Okay.
The one
The one
they
going
think
ham.
you're stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what was that? What song is that before? I forget.
I think
I
was
think it's
it?
the weekend.
Oh yeah, I think it's before the weekend.
Okay.
But I
Which
just
actually makes sense.
didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Who
I
said
didn't
that?
get it. But yeah, that was my only thing. So we can,
Okay. So that's all you have for the track list as well? Because you gave it a 4 as well.
me and Jabari, we used to listen to the album together a lot.
on the roads, on an R&B only tour. Just Prince and I in the hotel room, reviewing our life decisions.
Oh my god.
Together, cute. What about the impact on that album?
Well, the impact. I mean, this album. So first is we have this part in R&B only where when you drop it, and you're talking to the girls, and I mean we've done this in so many cities, and I mean, it just like you guys see when we have shows. It's like people are
Everyone is singing together,
screaming this at the top of their lungs.
I just love turning the volume off and hearing the crowd.
Yeah,
Say
yeah.
you got a girl.
Why you want me?
Because they go crazy.
Yeah.
And they hit everything, like
Yeah.
all the notes on there and stuff like
And
that.
that is a type of impact that like you're just like there's always like some song of like the few songs of the year that everybody is like Bodak Yellow, you know what I mean? We're gonna everybody knows the
Everybody
words.
stops what they're doing and then just
and
gets
and
crunk
it's like
to
this
it.
communal thing.
It's a
Like it
movement,
doesn't matter, people. You could be at like a restaurant, you know what I mean, and that plays, and like everybody's gonna start rapping it. But it's one thing because that's usually happens in hip hop music, over the past few years. But like for that to be like this is a straight
I feel
R&B
like
song.
even Love Galore was like,
Yeah.
it had the same impact, like, just the chorus.
Yeah, but not like that did have a big impact, but not like The Weeknd. You know what I mean? The Weeknd.
Yeah.
I do agree though.
Even
Funny
the
though,
Travis
Love
Scott
Galore went
part
platinum
before.
first.
Yeah.
I think.
Because it was released
It was
first.
released first.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I believe
yeah.
it's like 3 times platinum now.
I think there's another song that Supermodel.
But the
Yeah.
I feel like that one was more of like everybody was just what she said in the song. Just kind of everybody just feels it and stuff like that.
Every single song.
Yeah,
All of
This
it,
is
the
true.
entire
This
album.
is true.
Yeah.
It's just a different sound that's out now too. I feel like I've heard that sound through other people, and then when I go back, SZA had a lot to do with these songs, like a Rihanna. I feel like she kind of introduced SZA's sound in the last, what was Rihanna? Anti? So yeah, that last album, I felt like she kind of introduced the sound a little, even with that song that she and Rihanna have together. So when Control came out, I was like, okay, I've heard this sound, and it was welcoming for me to hear, because it's kind of, sometimes when you introduce new sounds, everybody's like, they don't like Travis Scott. When he first came out, nobody was like, oh, we're not messing with it. Now everybody has that on his, like, everybody has similar songs to it. So I feel like SZA made her own kind of sound, and I feel like, I don't really know if there's anybody that's kind of, that you can be like, oh, yeah, it's a SZA. Like,
I would say that's true. Nobody sounds like her.
And I think that's what made her stay here for such a long time. And who knows what her second album is gonna sound like.
But this is her third album.
I mean, her third album. So I don't know how that's gonna sound like, but.
Can we talk about how bad her first album was?
I just liked it.
Z?
Do you think that's why?
I'm like, I liked it.
Do you think that's why it was like kind of pushed back a lot? Because it was like, no, we're trying to get this perfect. We're trying to get this perfect. Because remember, SZA was lashing out. She was like, yo, I'm mad. They're not releasing my album. It's ready for you guys. Like, do you think her first album had a lot to do with why this one was kind of like,
I don't know. That album was so boring to me. I just couldn't get through it.
She had a lot more freedom on this album.
On this
release.
Yeah.
And she just, she just let it all out. I know that.
And I think she was finding herself more through this album. That one, she probably was still kind of like lost in like who she was and what she wanted to portray, and like how open she was. Because this one's pretty open. Like, it's the same thing with just like
kind of like Kehlani too, like being raw too. Like the fact there was a lot. Everybody like Ashanti, who said that she didn't like the Weeknd song because, you know, she's like, oh, I don't like the side chicks and stuff. And then Joe Budden goes, well, no, that's not really what it's about. She's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, never mind. Then yeah, I like it. That I felt like that song kind of, everybody was like, oh, okay. You know, there's some people that if you kind of love the song, you were kind of seen in a certain way, because everybody's like, oh, so you agree for side chicks and stuff like that. But I felt like she kind of just went in on a lot of the songs, like spoke about a lot of things that.
Can we reference where this Joe Budden and Ashanti conversation happened? Was this on the Joe Budden podcast?
No, it was on Everyday Struggle. When Ashanti was on there, and they were talking about like music that's out now, and then they asked her, do you like SZA? And she's like, I like her album, but like I'm not into like the whole side chick movement and stuff like that.
See, but yeah, okay, let's talk about that really quick before we move on. I mean, because what do you guys? I mean, the top song from this album, or the song that had the most impact, was The Weeknd.
Yeah.
Is that song about being a side chick? What is that song
I think
about?
that's fine. It's like the reality of like when you're dating a guy and finding out that like you're not the only girl, and you have to accept it,
and you're basically The Weeknd.
Right, or you know, like, or it could be vice versa, whatever the situation, but it's just like the harsh reality of like when you're dating somebody and you end up finding out that there's other situations happening on the weekend when he's not with you. Right. So that's why it's like, oh, okay, well, he's with me during the week, then.
No, SZA was talking about she was the weekend.
I know, but I'm saying that, like, you know, there's a different girl for the weekend and then like the week.
Okay.
Like,
she did say that she could take a little bit more, you know, some Mondays, some Tuesdays.
I need me at least.
She was down. Yeah. She was down to be the all around girl.
Yeah.
But she's just kind of, you know, on the weekend status.
So
she's not saying I'm gonna remain the same.
And yeah, it's just like this is. I just found this out.
Right.
Okay. Now, do you think that, I mean, as women, is that what y'all got from it? Or the girls that are at R&B Only, when we play the song, and they're like, you like 9 to 5, and they're screaming, and we got pictures of them screaming the song. Are they, you know, are those girls thinking that I know how this feels? Or are are some of them proud side chicks? Are some of them proud side chicks?
I think it's a combination of both. Yeah. Like, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm 9 to 5, I feel this, like, you know, like, that's probably what I am or something like that. And there's other girls that are just like, I relate. I'm gonna sing in the top of my lungs, but there's other people that are just like,
I'm the weekend.
Initially, when I heard this song, I was like, oh, she's really embracing me, the side chick. Go, girl, because men do it all the time, so I don't have a problem with hearing it. Yeah. But then when I started hearing it more, and then I also watched an interview on her, she was kind of just saying, like, no, it's just the reality. Like, at the end of the day, when you're in, like, maybe not even, like, a real relationship, like, situationships or, like, dating.
I like to call it a bishop.
A what? A baship.
Yeah.
A baship. A situationship. There's those weird in-betweens where you really don't know what's going on. And then you're like, oh, in reality, I am that weekend.
Yeah.
And it's like, do I embrace it? or am I mad?
And then it goes back to him saying there's some girls that are okay with being that, and there's others that are just like, damn, well, I got played. Like,
or are they really okay with being that? It's like we just accept it, like, but not unwillingly. And so I think that way too.
Well, it's not unwillingly because you wouldn't be there if you know.
Right, where it's like it's a spot where you're like, I like him, and you're like.
It's funny because I actually heard the song was not about being a side chick or even another option. It's just like, it's about dating, but it's about like, all right, compared to other women, I'm like the weekend. You are like a weekday. Like, not like we're competing for one man necessarily, but just a comparison of like,
oh
yeah, I don't know, but I could be wrong. I'm not SZA, so SZA, please, how about
let us know.
We need answers. Okay,
Cool. Off to the next album?
Yeah.
On to the next album, Daniel Caesar, Freudian.
Let's go.
You're not about to diss my
So my man.
Hold on.
Your man's not hot.
Jabari graded it very low. So why?
Okay, in general, let me start with the positives that I think it was, right? So he has songs like "We Find Love." That's a beautiful song. Best part, amazing. Get You, amazing. I think I think the thing that gets me with Daniel Caesar in general is that like he's a young dude, right? He's in his early 20s, I think. But I sound like I'm listening to like
an old soul,
an old man. You know what I mean? And maybe that's just he's just an old soul. But like, I mean, all of you know me and the type of music. Like, I like my R&B to slap. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that's just me. I need. There's no slappers on here. You know, like there's zero. Like nothing I can. You know what I'm saying? I can't even ride to this. Like,
I mean, for sure, it's a different type of vibe.
This is the purest R&B album of 2017.
Purest, like.
Okay. So like, yeah, like you
I
might want things to slap.
I like the future sound in R&B, which is why
cool.
Chris Brown is not on here, and that's an abomination, and we'll get to it.
Yeah.
But
I feel like there's a time and a place for everything.
Yeah.
He didn't make this for
anything. He didn't try to be like everybody else now. He came out with his own sound.
Yes.
He had the gospel on there.
You.
Like he just wanted this is who he is. He wanted to establish himself. Even with the other songs he's had, which one's Get You? That was supposed to be on his EP, I think. Yes. On his first one. And then he put it on this album. But all his songs before this one is just kind of, it's his own style.
And I don't like
and
the
his
sound.
voice. That makes sense. To each their own.
Where's he walking to? Like, it's just so weird. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's literally, and maybe it's just like, oh, I'm in a league of my own type thing. You know what I'm saying? But that album cover is exactly how this album sounds. Boring. Him by himself.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying? He's walking nowhere with this thing. Like, it's just, I'm not with it.
I don't agree, and I feel like, a lot of people were touched by this album because, this was not a man that had like a big machine behind him. Yet, it was explosive. What he was able
That's
to
another
do.
thing. You guys talked about impact. When you guys were talking, I went and looked them up, and I'm not, I'm not saying that like social media is everything, whatever.
It's nothing.
So social media, like, if you look at everybody, he's at the bottom.
He's the newest artist
of popularity.
He's the newest artist.
Him or Sonder? I think Sonder.
Oh no, Sonder's lower. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. But
Brent Faiyaz's and Brent Faiyaz's album was definitely everything you described.
So I'm like, okay, where is this impact that you guys are talking about? Like, I don't hear him on the radio.
I feel like this is an album. No, this is something like this album's gonna live for a very long time because of the sound of
With who?
Oh my God.
With who?
With those that relate to this type, like I feel like his lyrics on here and just the way he I just felt the
Enough
soul
people
in
haven't
there.
even heard it. People don't know who this man is.
He sells out shows, okay?
Yeah.
He sells out shows.
Okay, selling out shows for 200 people.
No, he's not doing 200. No, hold on. And I feel like after this album, it created a buzz because there was no R&B album that was out like this. So it was able to like, a lot of people were just able to like listen to him and be like, oh, who's this guy? This Daniel Caesar, I've never heard of him. Oh, he's Canadian? Okay, cool.
I know we're gonna get to Khalid, but like, you guys are talking about a young artist. You guys are talking about sounding like an old, like even that, right? What I said, like, Khalid did that the right way. You know what I'm saying? Khalid came with a whole new sound. Khalid's writing is impeccable. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
And I'm just like, when you compare the two young guys, Khalid is probably younger than Daniel Caesar, right? Young guys.
He is.
New sound. You know what I'm saying? I mean, both are true R&B, like you said, right? I'm not knocking that from Daniel Caesar.
But they also have two different support systems and teams behind them. Khalid has somebody who just literally did the same thing with Bryson a year ago.
Yeah, he comes from that whole
with a new sound, and they had the formula.
Yep.
Daniel was like more of like an organic like growth.
Yeah.
Like
SoundCloud
it's just
too.
like
Grassroots.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the minute I heard "Get You," and I put that on, like, I haven't done a mixtape in a long time. I put that on, immediately connected with it. Was like, this sounds like '90s R&B, like, but it's nothing like it's crazy. Like,
I know what you mean. Like, you can hear the influence from And
I was like, this kid knows what he's doing, and to be so young to have that understanding of music, I was thoroughly impressed.
It's just boring to me. Like, so Daniel Caesar, I'm looking for more excitement with the next album.
That's fair.
I'm sorry. What you guys gave it like pretty much you two. Oh, this is the Daniel Caesar wave. You guys gave it 5s.
5th.
On like everything. What was the ones that?
No, I gave Impact 3 actually.
Okay, why?
Because like you said, I feel like he didn't have the reach that he could have. But I feel like in the long run, it's gonna get there because not only is this music he's young and he has a young audience, but he also is appealing to older people. The thing is, we're going to get older, and so it will be more relatable. So when you got young Barry Jr. running around, you might be like, yo boy, go get that Daniel Caesar record. Got to sing your daddy.
Airdrop it to me.
Airdrop it.
Oh my god.
So good.
Yeah, it was a good album.
Okay. To each his own.
It was not exciting.
What were your favorite songs?
Get You and the joint with HER, I think are just beautiful. Like, honestly, that song might be at my wedding if I have a wedding.
Honestly,
Yeah,
that's the one
literally
song that really got me because I don't know if
Same.
anyone else knows, but I heard like a Kirk Franklin sample.
Yeah.
And I was
Hold
like,
me down.
Yeah.
hold up.
Oh man.
I felt like I was like 5 in church again.
Yes.
I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard this for a long time.
And I don't even listen to gospel. And I was like, and I was vibing with this. Like,
I really did Take Me Away with Sid.
oh yeah,
That's my song.
fire.
That's my song.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if there's one song in here that I didn't like.
Yeah, I didn't skip any.
I didn't skip any. Like it.
I didn't skip any either, but I didn't repeat any. I listened to this album a few times for this discussion, obviously.
This album it's probably still on repeat for me.
Yeah.
It's just so beautiful. Like it takes me through a roller coaster of emotions.
Oh, I was gonna say of emotions.
Of emotion, yeah,
Right.
yeah. Like
Must be the slowest roller coaster.
no,
1 mile an hour.
but it's a great roller coaster. Doesn't matter how long, I still got a thrill out of it.
Okay.
Okay. Any last thoughts?
No.
Go Daniel Caesar.
I'll play Daniel Caesar before I go to bed.
To relax you.
No wonder why you're single.
to relax me.
All right, let's move on.
Woo, the flamethrower.
I'm about to say, oh no.
Let's get into some good albums, bro.
Okay.
Okay,
Slide in them DMs, y'all.
that's Jabari.
I'm
At
glad your
Jabari.
voice is going.
Okay, so the next album is Process-Sampha. You were the one that scored low.
I think for me, it's just it's not something that it's sonically pleasing to me at any time of the day. Like, I have to be in a specific mood. But, like, I know a lot of people are going to attack me, and I'm so sorry. But
I feel the same way.
I'm attacking you.
But I mean, I think overall it is a good album.
Where's my tiki torch?
I think he's a great artist, but this album specifically, I just wasn't the biggest fan.
Prince, how do you feel?
I don't know what this one was talking about. I thought the album was amazing. Honestly, it was
so different,
so experimental, and
Yes.
there was nothing like literally. There's still nothing that really I mean, there's other artists that kind of are in that vein of future R&B and whatnot, but like, the way he's able to just
his voice, it's so different. Just the way he the experimental part of it was just. I've never heard anything like this.
My favorite song on there is Reverse Faults.
Yeah.
And it's just it's crazy.
No, mine's Incomplete Kisses.
Yeah,
that song is just.
I mean,
Honestly, like, even just how we're talking about track list and how I think it was Reverse Faults goes into Under. It's just some of the transitions on this album is crazy, and it's just like stuff I've never heard before. And then lyrically, even just like the hook on Nobody Knows Me, like nobody knows me like the piano in my mother's home. He grew up
and it's so different.
Playing
that
the
song
piano.
is beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? It's
he's
just,
young.
Yeah, he's young.
He's young.
Too.
He looks old.
Yeah, but I mean, lyrically, it's just like some of the stuff that, and I think he's writing everything himself. So it's just like, I don't know, man. And then in terms of like even just the little Lucy stuff that he's thrown out, like that song he has with Sid, and I just really like the creative direction of his whole everything he does.
He's very different. He's not like anything that's out right now.
Yeah. Blood on Me, even that video for Blood on Me,
It's so
it was weird and it's cool. Like that the car's stuck in like a tree at some point. It's just like it's crazy, man. So yeah, to me, Sampha is what, like, just as much as I want the Brysons and the Chris Browns of the world, because they make the slappers, you know what I'm saying? The R&B slappers.
It's true.
We also need Samphas to push stuff in a whole different direction. You know what I mean? And even some of Blood on Me slaps too. So, I mean, yeah.
Okay, guys. So what about the lyrics on here?
Yeah, some people give him a kind of low score for lyrics. I think sometimes his lyrics are just like, I gotta go to Genius to look it up,
you can't really.
Yeah, because I don't just get it off the first listen. But that's dope. I mean, but some stuff I still don't understand. Like even that intro, just like, what is that about? Plastic 100 degrees, like I don't know. It's a dope song though.
It is,
and it has a crazy transition too.
What about his staying power? Like, he's gonna be around for a very long time. I feel like, and.
Let's talk about it. Who are the artists that are associated with Sampha?
No one.
Well, Drake.
Oh, I mean, I thought like the same
given
sound.
recognition to him as usual multiple times.
Yeah, Beyonce has too.
Yeah. So these are artists who are doing very great things that are locked into the culture. So I see him staying and being involved.
You know who's similar in that vein of like, nobody ever talks about this dude like this, but when you look at somebody like The Dream.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
The Dream is like, as a solo artist, he doesn't get the recognition he deserves, I don't think. But
as a writer,
all of the greats are tuned in. If you look at like all the past Jay-Z albums, The Dream has had something to do with some tracks.
Beyonce
Same with
albums,
Beyonce.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and I think that, and now that new guy that's like that is like a Sampha or a Frank Ocean. You know?
And a SZA.
Okay. And SZA, yeah.
I mean, y'all listen to James Fauntleroy?
And James Fauntleroy.
Of course.
Yeah. Yep.
Definitely.
Who had a song on SZA's album?
Fauntleroy's status, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything else?
Sampha, I think the thing though that honestly, why Sampha is not like why he didn't have that impact. I think what I really think is he doesn't spend, and from working with artists in the UK, this is a lot of times their dilemma. Mm-hmm. But I think that they don't spend enough time physically here in the States. Mm-hmm. Because he's the only artist that is on this list that is not from here, aside from Division. But Division is from our continent. But like, you know, when you're over there in the UK, it's such a small country and they have their own thing going on with music and they can tour a lot of different places. But like, think about it. If you have a family, if you have an apartment, if you have you know what I mean? A house, whatever. To come and then leave your life, and then you guys know how we tour. We'll be on the road for months at a time because the country's so big. So imagine somebody coming from such a small place and then needing to tour over here. It's hard. You know what I mean? And it's rigorous. It takes a lot. But when they don't do that enough people can't get the music. They don't, he comes over here for a little bit, does his press run, does his tour.
And then that's it.
And then that's it. And they're gone. But you don't see Sampha, like when was the last time you really heard of Sampha having those, like,
and all his shows are like low, like he does a lot of low-key shows.
They're
like
intimate.
Yeah, it's not massive venues.
But that's by choice. Like, he wants that feel, you know what I mean? Because he does like him and his piano.
Yeah. And you think that affects his impact though?
Yeah, but it's like, it's just like kind of like with Prince. He never did like interviews, or he didn't do too much press.
First, I thought you were talking about yourself.
I know, me too. I was like,
I didn't say I wasn't, but but like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's like one of those choices where it's like, all right, I'm gonna give people just enough to appreciate me, and those who are really paying attention will latch on to it, and those who aren't, they'll play catch up.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm great and I have something to offer, you know what I mean? So.
And I feel like this album, people can still listen to this album like 5 or 10 years from now.
Oh, definitely. I mean, this album came out earlier in the year, and even just revisiting it.
It still sounds fresh. Like
I'm about to play this on the way home.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So the next album we're gonna discuss is Into Sonder. Let's go. What do you guys think of the album?
All right. First of all, I just want to start by saying that I really like this album. It is very short. I thought it was short and sweet. I like the fact that it's a group. We don't have male R&B groups, and so that's why I gave it a high score in some areas.
But
and they came out of nowhere though.
Yeah, but that whole group thing that's a loose word because that's like calling Division a group. Like
they are.
yeah. They're a group of people, but there's one vocalist. You know what I'm saying?
It's the same thing with Sonder. There's one vocalist and 2 producers.
Exactly, and it's the same thing with
Pretty Ricky.
No, it's the same thing. What's that group you like from OVO?
Legit Jordan.
Legit Jordan. It's the same type of thing. So I don't know if is that really a group? I know what you're saying.
Okay.
Yes, it is a group.
Okay.
But in the context in which you're mentioning is like we need more groups.
I was under the impression there were 2 vocalists and then one producer. So all right, well then I had to lower their score. I'm just kidding. No, I'm gonna keep it the same. But I still wanna reiterate the fact that the fact that they appear as a group. All right, in this R&B space right now, they're literally like by themselves, except for the other 2 duos that we just mentioned,
which are
you know what I mean. It's like there's no more of that. We need
a group.
You know what I mean? There's a void.
Yeah, we need that.
And we need somebody to hit those high notes. Hint.
So you gave it a low score.
I just wasn't like moved by it. I don't know. It didn't make an impact to me where I'm like, yo, it changed my life. Or like, I need to listen to this song. Or like, it just pops in my mind like, ooh, I want to listen to it. It's like, ooh, this is beautiful.
Voice is what captivated me. Like it was so different, and then the way the
lead singer of the Brent Fires.
I just feel like the way all the songs are put together. I hate that it was short, but it still was. I feel like it was good quality that was given to me. I liked it.
Too Fast is such a good song.
So good.
Right.
It is like a perfect song. And I think that.
What about Care? You don't like Care?
Care's cool. I like Feel as well. I like
Silence.
Silence.
All of them are
but
amazing.
the thing is that like. So. I know this was an intro. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
Like, sorry, it's called Into. Well. Added an R. But
I thought
it was an intro for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, but my thing is that there needed to be, like, my issue is that you have these guys with a 7-song album that made this list. You have Chris Brown who put out a 45-track album.
Oh, bangers too.
Bangers! And we're not talking about this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an abomination to me. So my, and it's not that I don't like Sonder. We went to a Sonder show. I like Sonder. But I want to see more from them. I just feel like they're young and...
So what do you think about the move of the lead vocalist going to solo?
Okay, so Brent Faiyaz putting out a solo project. I thought I was great, and I like that album. You know, we listened to that album when we were in Hawaii. But the thing is, I think he needs to be groomed more. You know what I mean? Like
the writing on the Sonder album was better. Than his solo one.
Yes, I think the writing was better. But then again, I think that he gave us at least he gave us a full-bodied attempt. You know what I mean? On his debut, it's like you come and I mean I know this is an EP, but I'm just like I just wish I could have heard more from these guys. You know, I'm excited about the next album though that they put out, but I wanted to hear more on this one. I don't think this was enough, and I think that's why a lot of my scores were a little lower because it's not enough to judge them off. It's 7 songs, you know.
You felt like you needed a little more to kind of...
Yeah, sure. You know,
I needed more diversity.
No more diversity.
It was just one. But I feel like that's their sound. Even on Brent's album, it was just one sound.
And that's my problem with, you know, I really enjoyed this, and then he followed up with his solo, and it's like, yo, it sounded like a continuation, almost like throwaways from this, because this was so short. I know they had other tracks, you know what I mean? It's like, and then, I don't know, I just felt like every song sounded the same.
Yeah, every song is similar, and you know, but the
I think Brent's voice is what makes
Brent's
it
voice
so
is
different.
incredible.
Yeah.
Like his voice is, I haven't heard
so
anything
different.
like that. It's different. It's relaxing.
Yeah.
And then like, Too Fast. This is another thing. Like, Too Fast to me should have been one of the top R&B songs of the year. Like that was such a good song, but these guys are independent. You know what I mean? And like, you know, it is what it is. Like but not enough people heard Too Fast, I think. And I think that if more people would have heard Too Fast, it might have had a bigger impact in general.
That makes sense.
You know?
All right, let's just move on to the next album. American Teen, Khalid.
Cool.
Let's talk about it, guys.
Location is my jam.
I mean, first off, impact. I mean, Location is one of the biggest R&B songs on the planet. Yep. So impact-wise, that shot him to superstardom. Impact. That's that.
Young, Dumb, Broke.
Young, Dumb, and Broke is
that one's
also...
The second.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about the sound on it?
I really love the sound. I thought it was very different because you kind of hear his, you know, where he comes from. He's from San Antonio, right?
Yeah.
Or El Paso.
El Paso.
And so, like, I remember I actually hit him up on SoundCloud like a minute ago when I first heard a couple of his joints, and I was like, wow. Like, this sounds like nothing else, and... His
voice is so unique, too.
Very, and then when I found out how old he was, it's crazy. So, the fact that he's able to bring, like, you know, an R&B vibe, but still keep it a little poppy and kind of have some, like, country kind of twang.
Yeah.
And it just makes it so unique, and I just feel like, yo, he has, like, a lot of longevity.
Yeah, a lot. I think I gave it a 5 and how it relates with people because it took me back to, like, even if my teens weren't like the greatest, I felt like just living the teen life through him, with like being able to take me to that time. I was just like, damn, like all the songs were just like young love and like being honest, like we're broke, you know, I'm scraping for money and like, you know, just trying to see what's the next meal and stuff like that. It was amazing how he was able to do that.
Yeah, talking about stuff like coming home smelling like weed or something like that, you know. It's just like, he has this, I had to pull up these lyrics, but lyrically, I mean, this kid is he's on another level. He says, he's talking about like heartbreak, and he's like, but I hold on to the poems I will write you. Happy 17, I saw us 2 and you saw 3. I guess our lines are structured like a haiku. Like, but like that's just bars, straight bars. You know what I'm saying?
Like low key
you
bars,
know what I'm
though.
saying? Like low key bars. Like, but from an R&B artist, you know what I'm saying? Like that's this. I mean, he has a lot of songs like that on. I just know when this album came out. We talked about it a lot. Like when this album came out, like it was just like I think Prince was like he hit me. He was like, "Yo, you gotta hear this album." And then when we were making the playlist, like I was just like, "Yo, there's like not a bad song on the album."
It's good.
I don't know. The track list, I feel like he could have cut some out though.
Which one?
Probably. I didn't like the last one. Angels.
Okay.
I don't know. I felt like he
I
was
like that
giving me
song,
a type of vibe, like a roller coaster, but then I don't know. The last just couple songs just felt like they just didn't go. Like I felt like the
You like
first.
Shot Down Here?
Yes, but I felt like just maybe in the order the track list was set. I think that's what kind of confused me because you gave me like a high energy and then you kind of went down and then you kind of go like I just think the order of the songs like it just kind of didn't do it for me. Because I don't know, the flow was just kind of yeah. Do you agree?
I think Angels is definitely a good closing song. But I kind of do agree with the order.
Yeah.
It's definitely up and down.
Yeah.
Prince?
I mean,
But I guess that's how an album's gonna be in a sense,
Yeah.
you know, because it's not like all the slow
But
songs.
it doesn't really
all
flow
the-
together is what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just
It doesn't have the same flow of a Sampha.
exactly.
You know?
It just doesn't
Or like when you listen to a Frank Ocean album, top to bottom,
Oh yeah, I mean.
that sequencing is very deliberate.
Yeah,
Definitely.
very true.
Exactly. Okay, so what about the sound on just this whole album?
The sound is dope. I mean, I think the ill thing about it is that he's introducing kids to a certain type of sound that is like before his time. You know what I mean? And like when you see the kids at a Khalid show, it's kids. It's like 14 to 25. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, just when I look at his Twitter and like just this whole social following, it's just a lot of youth, and the fact that they can appreciate this music lets me know that
He's gonna
you
be
know,
around for.
not
They're
that
gonna
he's
grow with
be
him.
around, but like it's dope to see that young kids have an appreciation for this style of music, and that R&B is actually like, you know, impacting kids like it was, you know, kind of when we were coming up, the older of us. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just really dope, man. I love what he's doing. So.
Any last thoughts? It was a good album.
He sounds great live.
Definitely.
Oh, okay.
Amazing.
I've never seen him live.
Yeah, he sounds
Yeah.
good live.
We
Yeah.
did.
Very
Well, not like that though. Like he popped up,
Yeah.
you know, but I didn't go to like a show and see.
sounds exactly like his tracks.
Is he like electrifying and like up there just moving around and stuff?
He has some energy about him.
I think he needs to get better stage presence.
But yeah, I think that'll come. You know what I mean? But I mean his songs, he gets a little hype, but you know his music is kind of
Yeah.
He's a quirky guy.
yeah.
That's
the
it.
term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
you gotta
like,
get tempered into his energy.
you know, RCA, man, you want swag coach, just
Oh my gosh. Okay,
No.
next
I don't know where you would find
call
it.
colors up. We got it.
800 colors.
All right, guys, let's go to the next album. Finn by Sid.
Woo! Wow.
What'd you guys think of it?
Thought it was fire. I thought it was a complete album. I was kind of sad it didn't even get the Grammy nom, to be honest.
That was crazy.
I think it came out at the perfect time too. Like just the whole album itself. It's not too loud. It's like the calm. And it came out in the top of the year.
Yeah.
So when was it released? February. Yeah. So it was like a cold time, and it was just a perfect time to hear all of the songs that were on here. She had Black on there. That was a good song.
All about
Really
me.
good song.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my song. All about
That's,
me.
yeah.
That was a single.
Yeah.
Well, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it's solid.
Yeah.
Why'd you give it a 3 for sound?
Well, I think that her sound, there's one song on here, which I think is it No? Where it's like, it just sounds just like Aaliyah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I thought that was crazy.
it was wild, because I was just like, so I just think it's like, she does something where she kind of takes from a lot of different places, and makes it her own unique thing. Her voice is very airy, and I think that's good, but I don't know. I just think I think it's unique, but I don't think it's like super unique for me to give it like a 4. You know what I mean? Like it just kind of sounds very hip hoppy, you know. So, and like she's also not the best singer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do think that she's improved over the years, though.
Yeah.
Her voice is more better than
Okay,
it
so
was
that's good.
before,
But
vocally.
I just like how like she's rough around the edges. You know what I mean? Obviously, you know she's representing. There's not many people, you know, in R&B music that are not straight. So for her, it's like really dope to see how far she's gotten, you know. And it's and she's not like, but like, the music is. I noticed that you got like everybody here is straight. I know, and everybody here gave it a 4 or higher on relatability. So that's a certain. And it's about R&B, which is love, you know what I mean? So that's dope to like, she's able to make that connection with everybody.
Yeah.
That's super dope. So.
Exactly. So what did you guys think about the track list?
I'm a big fan of the track list. Can I say it again?
Yep.
No is my song. I
Yes,
love
that's
that
right,
song.
that's
I
right.
literally have it on repeat all the time. I just think it flows really well together. I don't know, I'm just such a big fan, and I was talking about this earlier, like I wasn't really expecting it to be amazing for some reason. I mean, I love the internet, but I kind of felt like it would probably be a little more like mediocre, but it exceeded my expectations, and I think that's why I like it so much.
Is she a better solo artist, or she's good with the internet?
I think it's completely different. I really like the internet. It's a different, like when I first heard the internet, I was like, wow, this is really different.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. And her by herself doesn't sound like the internet. Like you hear the same voice, but you don't hear the same type of music.
Way more slappers.
Yeah.
Way more slappers.
Yeah, it's totally different. So I feel like I like both. It just depends on what mood I'm into at the moment.
Great.
Okay.
The one song, what was the song that the internet had was like,
Girl?
Penny for your thoughts, I know what you
Special Affair.
Special Affair, yeah.
That's my jam.
That's
Yeah.
the one song that I feel like
Is
could have been put on Finn.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
It was
Yeah.
more of her taste.
yeah. So, but, yeah.
Any last thoughts?
great album.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
solid, man.
I love Sid.
Definitely.
Yeah,
You
I'm
can hear,
excited.
I love the fact that you can hear her influences.
Yeah.
Like, but at the same time, I'm like, I want more originality. But I'm not mad at
Yeah.
the influence. You know
Because
what I mean?
it's not
like-
around. Like when she did the Leah thing, it's
Exactly.
like it's nice to hear her in a sense, you know.
No, man, like, yeah. That's exactly how I felt. I was like,
Yeah.
damn, this sounds like a lyric.
Yo, I bugged out. Honestly, I was like, yo, that's dope. You know, you see people paying odes to artists every, like, I mean, there's like a release every single day, but you don't hear people doing it like the right way all the time. So
Yeah.
I feel like Sid really did her thing on that
sure.
track.
Awesome. Let's go to the Morning After by Division.
No time.
No Time is
Yeah.
just slapper.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy.
Yes.
I like that track.
No Time, Tech
Morning
Time.
After is good.
Yeah.
I like Morning After too. Staying Power.
Hold on, can we also talk about that? There's that interlude between No Time and Tech Time.
The
Like,
girl
when song-
talking.
When the girl's like,
Oh, that is
I
so
just feel
relatable.
like-
I sent a long text and
Yeah,
all
I
I get back is an okay.
yeah, yo,
Super
that's
back.
that's
it's like he doesn't even care.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, he doesn't have anything to say
oh man.
to me.
that-
I was like, yo.
And it's just like the hook, like I feel like you don't have time for me, no
Yeah.
time. Like, yeah, that song is like, that's like millennial relationships.
Yeah.
That song. And then the other song that's really relatable, I think, for me.
Morning After.
Nah. It was actually Claim. You know, he was just like, there's a line and he's like, somebody should have last named you. Like, that was just a powerful lyric, you know, like, I like when people say things in a unique way that are like basic, like somebody should have married you, but somebody should have last named you. You know, it's like.
But did they mean it?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
They say that all the time.
And I feel like it's relatable from a guy's perspective. It's just like, you know, you look at all the ones that got away, the ones that, man, that could have been a really good girl, you know, and just go back to the morning after.
Oh my God.
What do you think about staying power then?
Staying power, honestly, I feel like they're just, like Jabari said, like, yo, the first album, between this one and this one and the last one, there wasn't much development. I didn't feel like they really, you know, I didn't feel like, I don't know, like I actually enjoyed the first one more, and it was because it was refreshing and gave me that nostalgic like kind of feeling. But like this one was just more like, production wise, it was great. Lyrically, it was like whatever, you know what I mean. It had a couple bars on there that was like, all right, cool, and then it was just too many songs, you know what I mean, that like didn't, you know, hit with me. So it was just like whatever. I actually did like the Maxwell joint that they sampled.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even when I go out and play it, it's like, yo, it literally gets no reaction.
But then remember when you like when you first started playing Too Deep when it came out, it was like, nah. But then as people heard it, when you played Too Deep, it would be crazy.
But Too Deep is dope, but that's like the first album.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Too Deep was like, but then there are no songs on here like that.
Bruh, and they have two singles.
Yeah.
Mood
like,
and the joint with
Don't Choose.
Yeah.
Don't Choose. That's a slapper.
I actually do like Don't Choose.
Yeah,
Don't Choose goes, but it's just like, it's such an awkward thing.
I don't know. I feel like this album.
It's like,
I feel like this album was more like it woke me up. The first joint like just had me like, okay, like yeah, it's a nostalgic
like this is the
feel.
morning after, right?
No, but like the first album was just more of like, okay, it was nice to hear that sound, yes, but this one was more of like, okay, they added a little more beats into it. Like it was just more awakening to me to hear too, because the first one was just kind of like, oh man, I don't even want to hear this. Like the singles are good.
I like the first one.
The first one was smooth.
I honestly think the first one is a lot better.
I don't know why. The second one is just more.
You gave it a lot of high ratings though.
I feel, okay, it's like hard for me because I really did like it. I really enjoyed the album, but I compared it to the first one because I love the first one. Like, I love the choir that they have.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was just my favorite part, and I was kind of expecting more choir, but then again, it's like they had to switch it up, obviously. So, like, I do like it, but it's not hitting the way Too Deep did, you know? Like, all those songs on there, every single song on the first album, like, hit me. I was like, I didn't even go through that, but I feel like I did all of a sudden. But, like, this album was like, no, it sounds good.
You know what I think is gonna be interesting for them? I think they just announced their tour dates, and they're gonna tour this project. It's like, they're what's gonna happen? They're gonna be in this dilemma that a lot of artists don't want to be in, which is where like they release those albums close to each other, back to back, but the songs that are gonna get the best reaction and the song they're gonna close with is not gonna be no song on this album.
Yeah.
This is not gonna be, none of this album is gonna be.
You don't think they'll close with Don't Choose?
Nah, they gotta close with like Too Deep.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah.
What's the other big song on the first album?
September 15th.
No, it's the other one. It was.
Man.
Not Angela.
No. I can't remember, but yeah, we gotta go to the next one.
Okay.
Right, let's
Strength of a Woman, Mary J. Blige. What do you think? What do you guys think of her? I think it was slept on. I don't know what happened. Something got lost in between her, so I don't know. But this album is really good, and I thought it would do a lot better because of everything that was going on with her divorce and stuff. And this album like spoke to it to the like nail. So it was crazy that a lot of people, you know, maybe people are tired of listening to that stuff. Like maybe people are just like, oh, we get it. You got your heart broken. He had another girl. Like, you know, everything that the rumors that were out, maybe. I don't know what happened to this album.
I feel like a lot of people don't even know that Mary has a new album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The press of it.
Yeah.
You didn't hear about it. Like I didn't know. I heard like her one single that she has, but it's also too. There's so many new artists right now she kind of just gets blown like under the mat, you know.
Just
because
another Mary album.
Yeah. Because there was nothing where it was like, you know, she had like all the new young artists on like all her tracks, then maybe there would.
Well, she did have the Quavo. She had Quavo on
Right,
there.
but that's like the only track
But she didn't have it
that
as a
Missy
single.
Elliott, DJ Khaled,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Kaytranada.
Yo, she had a single with Kanye, which should have been big, but Kanye spazzed, and I think that killed the momentum of this because she was kind of banking on that. Like the marketing for this album was trash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, yo, the sound was so good.
Yeah.
And it's so experimental. I thought she did some incredible things on this album.
The lyrics were raw.
Yeah.
Like everything she spoke about was just like
Literally, that song with Kaytranada is good. It's called "Telling the Truth."
Yeah.
You know, so
The song's fire.
yeah. I mean,
Glow Up is the only song that I really heard, kind of.
still out there, yeah.
Really, yeah, it's still not really, but that's the only song I think had an impact.
Yeah, even Love Yourself. You didn't hear that out. But yeah, it's just the story of this album is going to be that it's very slept on.
And it's probably an album people are gonna come back to because Mary has so many albums. That when you start putting her in, like, okay.
But you know when people say that, does it ever really happen? You know what I mean? Like,
True.
Dude, like,
That's true.
I heard Jay-Z interview talking about people being like, people. This is the album people are gonna come back to. But maybe with Jay-Z, I don't know. Maybe
Not
the culture's
with
just moved in such a like.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say her
fat.
time is like kind of
It's
done.
gone. That window's gone.
Like
yeah.
all her people that were in love with her are like onto something new, and it's like she's trying to
Or
touch
they've
this
grown,
new
too.
generation
Yeah.
where we're like, no, we have other people that are like.
I can't
speaking
relate to
differently.
divorce, but I can relate to heartbreak. But not in the sense of like everything she went through, you know? So it's maybe it didn't relate with a lot of people and the time, I don't know. The last album we're gonna discuss is Beach House 3 by Ty Dolla $ign. What was one of your guys' favorite songs on the album?
X.
X?
Oh, yeah.
I think
Love
mine
Me
was Drop
Better.
Top. Drop Top in the rain.
Like, Love You Better.
yeah. Don't sleep on me.
Yeah.
Stop sleeping on me.
That's a good
I like
one.
the side effects also.
Okay, so what do you guys think the impact did on the album? Like, the impact on the album?
It didn't really reach. I don't hear people talking about it, so.
I always feel like with Ty Dolla $ign song like albums, it's like a buzz for like a week or two. Like the rollout plan is amazing. Like his team does a really good job of marketing and he's places and stuff. But then that's it. Like I feel like if the album was great, it would have just kept moving on its own. But right after the marketing stop and the kind of the rollout stop, that's stopped. It's kind of stopped. But it was a good put together album. Better than his second one.
I think this was a near classic. It was
Why?
because it's very versatile.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Ty is known for like this R&B that's so borderline like rap music.
Rich.
Ratchet R&B.
It got White Tee on there.
Ratchet
Yeah.
B.
Ratchet and Blues.
But I mean, all the famous songs are kind of like serious. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
I really like, just his lyrics on those songs, like and it's you hear his qualms with this fame that he's dealing with. You know, like
I like the Pharrell song.
yeah, that's really
With
good
Wiz
with
Khalifa.
Wiz. But and then he's talking about stuff that is relatable. That's why I gave him a 4 for relatability, is because like that song "In Your Phone" is a really good song for like relatability. You always in your phone, like people deal with that in their relationships. Their partner being locked in,
their phone,
and you know what I mean. So yeah, I mean, I was like, 24 hours could have been axed off. Don't sleep on me though.
Definitely.
Oh my god. He's horrible.
Really? Like
that's
overall?
Terrible. Trash.
I didn't see his
Christine?
name on this list.
Yeah,
How
I
do
didn't
you
see
feel
that.
about that?
24 hours, like.
I
is
could have
this-
listened to it with or without him. It didn't
Oh,
really
get him
matter
out of
to
here.
me.
We needed another Ty verse on there.
Without.
Yeah. We also could have done without that Future thing at the end of that.
Bruh.
Like,
Oh.
what is he
Don't
talking
judge
about?
me?
Yeah.
Bruh, I was not a fan of that song.
Like-
and I was so disappointed in it. Yeah.
Okay.
That
What do
was-
you guys think about the production on the album?
Honestly, I thought it was good. I thought it was great that he didn't have like all like mustard sounding. beats.
Yeah,
You know
finally.
what I mean? But it still sounds very West Coast.
Yeah.
And Honestly, I'm very proud of Ty for this project. Man.
Yeah.
It was well put together.
It flows
Very
really well. And it's
Yeah.
kind of like a thing with like the Beach House series that I noticed, which is why I like the Beach House series so much.
Because it flows.
Yeah,
It's
I feel like I'm
upbeat.
always listening to the same song, like it never ends, but then it
Yeah.
turns to a completely different sound. And I'm like, wait, when did it change? And it was just like that with this whole album. So
Okay.
super smooth.
What do you guys think about his staying power?
Yo, Ty has surprisingly stayed around longer than I thought he would. You know, like
Could it be his features that keep him?
I think honestly, I think in the industry, you know, I don't know the man, but it seems like he's got a lot of support in the industry. And
I
a lot
think
of
it's
people
because he's
like him.
talented too. Like literally, like he can play any instrument. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
sing and write and
Yep.
stuff. I think that's what kind of maybe he's been around for a while and we just never noticed it was a Ty Dolla $ign written song. You know, or something like that.
That is very true.
So yeah,
And I think he's low key and like respectable. Like he's not loud and obnoxious or people are like, I don't want to work with him. It's like he's like, because I have been on set with him before and he's very respectable and like very just like chill and cool. Like,
And that goes a long way.
It does.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the way you present yourself and people feel around you, like the way you feel with his music is the way you feel in his presence. Like you still feel like, ooh, okay. Like
I do feel though that I kind of look at Ty as like wasted talent a bit because I wish that he would go
Harder.
deeper with content wise and range. You know what I mean? Like
of showing who he really
yeah,
is.
give me some more depth. That's why I don't think this is a classic album.
His
It's
personality.
because nothing is, you know, you don't walk away from this album like I know who Ty Dolla $ign is.
Right.
Really, you know what I'm saying? Like you telling me
He never really shows
what
that.
feels like in the drop top in the rain. You know what I'm saying? But who are you?
That's
Like, and
true.
I'm hearing a little bit on famous stuff, but not enough. You know what I mean? Like you really got to hear that from like, you know, Sampha or from SZA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or from Khalid. You got to hear it from Daniel Caesar. You know what I'm saying?
And Kalani.
And Mary J. Blige and Kalani.
Excuse me.
But the thing is, like, if you look at a lot of these albums on this list that we were talking about, you don't really step away from the album and be like, oh, I know who the man is, or he gave me some of him personally.
I think
you know?
that's also kind of why it's hard to put him in like a box of what genre of music he's in. Because I feel like R&B is always like portrayed to be like, oh, we're talking about ourselves and like what's going on in our life. And hip hop rap isn't so much like that. It's more about like, you know, like the fame and things like that. So it's kind of hard, but I think we get a mixture of both with him.
Yeah.
He's just
Do you guys?
His
I'm a
sound
diehard
kind of,
fan.
I get annoyed of his sound. Like I thought with this album, like there could have been like at least 3 or 4 songs that could have been taken out. I don't know, maybe it's his voice or something. Like I can't hear him for such a long time.
I could hear him all day. All day.
Yeah, I just can't. Like it's just something about him where I'm just like, okay.
You know what?
I like all the songs on here. I like are the ones with people on it.
Oh, see, I was just about to say, I think that some of the features should have been removed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
Like,
industry.
yeah, like the one with Made in Tokyo would have been so much better without Made in Tokyo.
I see what
Like,
you mean.
the little favorite, oh my little favorite. And then Made in Tokyo comes in like, oh, sorry, yeah, don't stop it. Ooh. He just keeps saying ooh, like, ooh, sauce. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what? Like, it's just too much.
I mean, I know they're all homies, but you know.
Yeah. Future
I
could have
feel
been
like
removed
it's
from,
super
Future's on this
industry
twice.
album.
He is, man. Honestly,
Everybody
I did
loves
feel like
Future.
the features were kind of like reaching and trying to, like, it was like a little bit of desperation.
Yeah.
Because of the whole campaign didn't go so well, that he was like really trying to find that success. So
Yeah.
he did like, all right, I'm gonna make all singles. Even with the mixtape that dropped along with this thing, yo, it had some fire joints that didn't make the album.
Yeah.
But like, yo, it was literally like he was trying to write singles, and then he wrote "Famous" as an intro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it was
Yeah.
like, but
Yeah,
"Famous" was
Famous
like,
is good.
it gave us just a glimpse. But
Yeah.
I agree with you. I want to see more of that type of time.
And then Ty, you know, in terms of this, I'm saying a prediction right here. I think Ty and Future are gonna come out with a joint album next year because they
Really?
have so many songs together already. Like Campaign was a song with them too. Like they have 2 songs on this. You know, like how much stuff do they have that we don't even know about probably. I think they're gonna drop it. And honestly, you know, I would like to hear that, but I don't want to hear any more from Future if it's not that.
Yeah, I'm pretty much over Future.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to hear Ty Dolla Sign go back to Neo Soul.
Oh man.
Okay.
Everybody disagrees. Okay.
Yeah.
No slappers.
No, nah, we need slappers.
I like Ratchet Ty.
No, yeah,
Ratchet
Ratchet
I
Ty.
like when his name was just T.Y.
Ratchet Ty. Ratchet
So
Ty.
you want TC to be on every song?
Yeah.
Yo,
Yo, this shit is good though. His brother.
we need a TC album.
Yeah,
So,
man. But
he's crazy.
It's kind of
Crazy.
oh, is he out of jail?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
TC's been out.
Well, the first album called Free TC.
That is true.
I like that one.
I think it's a great album though.
Yeah.
I don't think it's his best work, but I think it's great.
Same.
Biased.
I might
Just
be,
kidding,
I
I'm
might
just-
be biased. I love Ty Dolla Sign.
Okay, so I'm just adding up all of the total of the albums. So I added everybody's totals.
The moment of truth.
So should I go 10, 9, 8, or 1, 2, 3? 10, 9, 8?
Yeah.
Okay. So, top 10 albums, according to our ratings. Morning After by Division comes in at number 10. Into by Sonder comes in at number 9. Beach House 3 by Ty Dolla Sign comes in at number 8. Number 7 is Mary J. Blige with Strength of a Woman. Number 6 is Freudian by Daniel Caesar. Number 5 is Finn by Sid. Number 4 is SweetSexySavage by Kehlani. Number 3 is Process-Sampha. Number 2, American Teen by Khalid. And number 1, of course, SZA, Ctrl.
I mean, with this list that we had to work with, you know, the top 3 sound about right. You know,
What about 4? I think Kalani.
Yeah. I think. I mean, once you start getting in, you know, the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even mention 5. But you know, so the number 1 is Control by SZA. Number 2, American Teen by Khalid. Number 3, Process-Sampha, and Sweet Sexy. I mean, that if you told somebody these are the top 3 albums or top 4 albums of the year, I think a lot of people would agree. Now, the sad reality is that Chris Brown put out one of the best R&B albums, quite possibly of all time. top 20 of all time.
Okay, I'll give you that.
You know, he's not on the list because I think a lot of the reason is because, you know, it came out when we were discussing this list
And it probably needed to grow.
It needed, yeah.
Because
you know,
45's album, like, it's hard to process.
you need time. You need time to sit with it.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe it's gonna get its shine 2018. Maybe you know, maybe people are gonna be appreciative about the craft that he put out 45. That's a lot.
That's true. We might hear every song by 2018.
Oh my God. Yo.
No, but I really do think it's just too much to take in this conversation. Like, just not right now. I don't know, maybe all of his songs on there are his hits next year. Who knows? But he just put out another album, 57 tracks.
Deluxe version. The man put out a deluxe version of an album that's already 45 tracks. Respect his name.
Okay, well, like I said, there was 40 albums. Which ones do you guys think should have been on this list? I have a list of that too. So, do you want to go first,
We should
Ashay?
pick one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That didn't make the cut.
Man. Her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was her.
She has
That was her second, right?
You felt like she should have made the list.
Also,
You should say and why too. Why?
I mean, as far as marketing goes, she still has that. I mean, I know who she is, but she still has this like mysterious thing about her. I mean, she has a really great voice. Love all the tracks on their album. I mean, that's just me personally. Relatable. As far as impact goes, because of that mystery behind her,
And that
I think
voice.
that kind of creates more of a buzz for people to find out who she is.
Agreed. For me, it was the Kevin Ross album, of the EP. I feel like, yo, he's a really good writer for his age. I guess maybe there wasn't enough on the EP to really kind of give us like a well-rounded kind of perspective for what what he's doing. But honestly, I've been following him for a minute, and I mean, this dude just knows he gets it. You know, so he's studied under a lot of well-known legends, and I feel like I'm excited to see what he comes with.
2018.
Yeah. So.
What about you, Sonia?
Sabrina Claudio.
That she has a unique voice.
So great, so beautiful. She's just
So
like
angelic.
I just want to hug her. Like she seems nice. You know,
She's
that album's just so good, and she came out of nowhere. She just like blew up, and I was like, wow. Yeah.
She's dope live too. She was on tour with Daniel Caesar when I saw her.
Oh, of course. The most boring artist. Put you straight to sleep. Rockabye Baby. That tour should have been named Rockabye Baby. Daniel Caesar and Sabrina Claudio.
Oh my god. Well, she opened up for Black too. And a lot of people were telling me that they liked her performance.
We didn't mention
I didn't get to go to the show, but.
No, Black. No, that's.
Damn.
Luckily, he didn't put on
Yeah,
that.
that should
real
be
quick.
Yeah.
Nobody mentioned Janae. at
Trip.
Yo.
Yeah, nobody mentioned that.
Honestly, I feel like Sativa is one of my favorite songs
It
this
is
year.
great.
Like, I don't know if Sway Lee wrote that or not, but go ahead.
I think Kiddo by Jessie Reyes should have been on here. Like, she's such a young voice, and her story is very moving because she's a young lady in a male-dominated industry who's just trying to write and just trying to put herself out there, and she talks about a lot of the things that women in the industry face. So the fact that she was able to put that in her first album, and her voice is just so beautiful. Like, she still has a lot to grow still, but I think it was probably a good album, like a great album.
It was different sounding. Like, everything on that sounded super different. That was a sleeper.
Yeah. What album do you think? Oh, well, Chris Brown?
Nah, Chris Brown, I'll give it to you. I understand why we couldn't put him on here. But it's an abomination, but that's not going to be the one I'm going to say. Party Next Door, 7 Days, Fire, Slappers. Never Played Me? Just listen to that song one time. Then listen to the song
I think Colors too.
Blow My Mind with Halsey. It's just like that's, and they're going on tour together. Party Next Door and Halsey. Aren't they dating?
No, she's dating someone else.
Oh,
G-Eazy.
Well, she could do better.
Oh, G-Eazy, right? Yeah. She's dating G-Eazy.
Yeah.
But Party Next Door and Halsey, they're also like they're doing like the Forum, y'all. Like they're doing arenas. That's
Ambitious.
nah, man. Come on, they are.
Ask Jeremiah if that's ambitious.
That's oh my god. That's gonna be a great tour. I'm gonna see if I can swindle tickets.
They're definitely doing that because of Halsey.
More so than Party?
Yeah.
Yo, Party has a fan base.
But
Yeah,
Forum
he
fan
does.
base? Forum?
It's going down.
Bruh, he's not doing the numbers she's
I can
doing,
see
bro.
the no-go. I mean,
carrying that tour.
Yeah.
She's doing numbers.
Yo.
She's doing hella numbers.
Come on,
I
fam.
can see it.
Party.
Be realistic.
The hate is real.
You don't.
Party.
The hate is real. This man can't even do Palladium. He didn't step out of the Wiltern and go straight to the
It
floor.
kind
Come
of
on, man.
fizzled out. I don't know.
You know, that's an OVO.
Something about Party just kind of, I'm over it. You know what I mean? Like,
True.
him
I
writing
agree.
songs for other people, I think is getting more success than himself releasing all these mixtapes. I don't know. I kind of fell off.
I heard the best thing that we ever got from Party was Kalani's album.
Well then, Joni, what album do you think should have been on here?
I really, really, really like P&B Rock. That's fine. You can turn your back to me. I like him.
And you felt like he should have been on this list, the top 10? Why?
Because I can like groove to his music, and I'm like, ooh, I like it.
He
Okay.
has a strange voice.
He has a different sound, and I like it. So, yeah.
Was he even on this list?
No, because his album just dropped, so.
Oh.
But still, there's some songs on it that I really like, so.
Okay.
That's what I choose.
Okay. Do you guys think it's safe to say SZA held down 2017? for R&B music.
Oh, hands down.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
agreed.
Okay.
100%.
Who do you think comes right after? Khalid?
Yes. I mean, in terms of like, yeah, what they've done for R&B music and bringing it on a huge stage.
Kind of
For
level.
sure.
Actually, yes. Location just was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just too big.
Even Young, Dumb, and Broke, like right behind it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say Kalani before Khalid.
No way. She didn't have any song that was as big as Location.
But
Crazy.
he just had that song.
She has
No.
Distraction.
She has like
Crazy.
a lot more.
And then she had that
Crazy,
song
Distraction.
in that movie.
It's
Gangster.
Yeah.
Gangsta, yeah. Yeah.
I think
Movie.
she
Kalani.
hit.
Suicide Squad? Yeah.
I mean, talking about the same trip.
Nah, it was in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
But, okay, I mean, I also think the cool thing about this that we can even have this discussion, which we probably couldn't even had in 2016,
It
is
wasn't that strong.
R&B is here. And
Yeah.
we're a part of it with R&B Only. We get to play this music
Yeah.
across the country. That's really cool. And we're just gonna see where R&B goes. But I think that like,
I'm excited for 2018.
yeah, it's like, cause more artists.
Because a lot of the artists that dropped this year, that was their debut album. So imagine what they're bringing next year. Like,
Yeah.
so
And
excited.
I'm sure so many other artists are so inspired by these people that did drop such
Yeah.
huge, amazing projects that means there's going to be more
To come.
R&B inspired
Yeah.
music to come.
I hope Q, Mike, and Slim and Darren get inspired to go back in the studio.
Plot twist, they
112.
released an album this year.
Yeah, I know, but I hope they get inspired
Yeah.
by some of these new artists.
So funny.
And
Yeah.
go back to the drum. Okay, one quick question. What do you guys think about the emergence of like some of the older school, like the Marys? Maybe who's an artist that you guys want to see, like an older artist come back with something new, R&B wise?
John B.
Woo.
Wow.
Knock it off.
I like John B.
Yo, if he isn't coming back,
It ain't happening. It ain't happening.
I would like John B.
But it ain't
yo,
happening.
he ain't been out since Pac.
Yeah.
I know, but maybe, he's been writing,
You
who
weren't
knows?
even.
You right, he
knows?
might be.
Like,
Who knows? Who knows what he's done behind the scenes?
You right, you right.
I mean,
nothing.
Man.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
but
who else?
Ooh.
I want to see one from Usher, honestly.
a good
I wanna
album
see
from
one-
Usher.
yeah, I wanna
'Cause
see one more.
he's done albums,
I think Usher needs
but
one
he lost me. Oh my
final
god!
curtain call. He
Like,
needs to put out one project that is like
Like
That's
know?
true.
Confessions.
You don't like Hard to Love?
what?
You don't like his last album?
What was it called?
Hard to Love.
Oh, hard. What? Nah.
Guess I
It was
didn't
hard
like
to love.
Nah, I didn't like that one. I did like that. I mean, here's the thing with Usher though. Usher will come with a No Limit, and then an album full of duds.
Yeah,
Like, what's going on? You know,
Duds.
No
But don't-
Limit was really
that was
good.
a fire song.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
You gotta listen to the album.
Okay.
I kind of want to hear Genuine come back and see what's up.
Nah.
It's like
Oh,
kind of.
Yeah.
See, the problem with that is that like a lot of these they're older, so it doesn't have the same impact to me. Like I wouldn't see Genuine live.
Like if he comes out dope, then
She was
But if
like,
he comes out dope,
if he
yeah.
comes out dope, then yeah.
Yeah,
If it's
okay.
Whack, like
Who
absolutely
else? What you
not.
gonna
I would just love to believe that it would come out dope.
Right.
I just don't think that any of them would.
Mhm.
I mean, TGT had their little moment.
Yeah, and Tank.
I saw them live.
Tank is,
Yeah, Tank came back. I mean,
Tank
he's
is
still
back.
thriving. He's
Yeah.
thriving.
fine.
Yeah, that too.
You got anybody?
Maybe Pretty Ricky.
It's coming. It's supposed to be coming.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I'm waiting for that.
Yeah.
that would be dope.
That
Actually.
would.
I think their sound was
Very
it was
different.
ratchet R&B back before ratchet R&B
Yeah.
was, you know,
Acceptable.
yeah. So now if
Like
they,
the grind on me, it was just like
Yeah.
too much. But if it came
But
out in
we're
this
like,
era,
oh,
we're just like,
fuck.
yeah, the grind on me,
Yeah.
the hotline.
Yeah.
What is it? What is it? This, what
Yeah.
is it?
yeah,
Hotline. Yeah. Okay.
You got it.
Cool. Well,
Yeah. Well, that's it. I know you guys are probably not gonna like our list, but we're just here. We just wanted to have a good time and have a discussion on this. Like he said, it's it's amazing what R&B has done this year, and to only think what it's going to do next year. And make sure you catch us in your near city.
Yes, the R&B ONLY tour is coming to a city near you, so make sure you look at our calendar on Facebook and see when we're going to be in a city near you.
And I just want to say thank you to everybody here. Thank you guys for doing this. This was fun. And yeah, see you next time.
Peace.